The Will Smith-Oscar slap has taken a turn and become the toxic marriage heard around the world. Chris Rock's relative silence over the matter isn't helping, and people have turned their heads to something that has been brewing for a long time. Has Jada been abusing Will Smith? And more recently, was Oscar producer Will Packer lying when he said that Chris had been given a choice to remove Will from the Oscars? Again, we're adamant that the best commentary on the slap and Hollywood in general was offered by Jim Carrey, who told Gayle King, "I was sickened by the standing ovation. Hollywood is just spineless en masse, and it really felt like this is a really clear indication that we aren't the cool club anymore. They really are a bunch of clowns." Jim Carrey added that he would have sued Will for $200 million if he were Chris Rock, and we support that. As far as we're concerned, simply banning Will from attending the Oscars is letting him walk off scot-free. You can imagine that after the 10-year ban is up, he'll return at age 63 to yet another standing ovation. How awful! As for Chris Rock, he's been rather reserved about the Oscars incident. So far, the only thing he's said about it is, "I'm still processing what happened, so at some point, I'll talk about that shit. It'll be serious. It'll be funny, but right now, I'm gonna tell some jokes." He has been a pure class act throughout this scandal, though we wish he'd roasted the hell out of Will when he was on that stage. Denzel Washington, a major side player in the slapping incident, spoke with host TD Jakes at the 2022 International Leadership Summit, where he still seemed to side with Will Smith over Chris Rock. He may not have said it overtly, but he refused to acknowledge what Will did was wrong, echoing the same words he said to Will at the Oscars. Well, there's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. The devil goes, "Oh no, leave him alone, he's my favorite." Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because he's trying to do something right. And for whatever reason, the devil got a hold of that circumstance that night. Fortunately, there were people there. Not just me, but others. Tyler Perry came immediately right over there with me, said some prayers. I don't want to say what we talked about, but who are we to condemn? I don't know all the ins and outs of the situation, but I know the only solution was prayer, the way I see it. TD Jakes praised him for stepping into the situation as a senior statesman, but said nothing of Chris being left to fend for himself after a surprise attack. Spineless, the whole lot of them. One fan wrote, "What left me speechless is how nobody cared about Chris Rock. I found it inhuman, especially the standing ovation during the acceptance speech. Is this the message we want to send to the future generations?" Another wrote, "I admire Chris for keeping it professional and maintaining his composure. After the incident, people hugged and congratulated Will for winning the Best Actor award, and nobody sees how Chris was doing. Then after the show was over, many people and celebrities said Will was wrong, he overreacted." This goes to show how hypocritical and two-faced Hollywood could be. The man assaulted another man and nobody did anything. Will should have been arrested or at least asked to leave. Even if Chris didn't want to press charges, Will should have been arrested because assault is a crime. Jada also didn't do anything to defend or stand by her husband after all this. All she said was, "I can protect myself." Then Jada, if he didn't do it for you, then who? Himself? She instigated the whole thing. Will and Jada, they're toxic for each other. But that's a whole other story. A big problem with the incident is how it was handled. The Oscars producer Will Packer said that Chris was given the option to remove Will from the event, but he declined. However, sources now reveal that Will Packer's version of events may have been a lie and that Chris was never asked whether he wanted to have Will go. In the interview Oscars producer Packer gave to ABC News, he also said that Chris had gone off script when he made the infamous G.I. Jane joke. However, this might have been an attempt by Packer to throw Chris under the bus in order to save his career, after mishandling the slapping accident. The fact that Will got to accept his Oscar to a standing ovation after physically assaulting another man is vile and sickening. But according to Jaden Smith, that's how we do it. In excusing his violent behavior at the Oscars, Will Smith wrote on his Instagram apology to Chris Rock that, "Jokes at my expense are a part of the job, but a joke about Jada's medical condition was too much for me to bear, and I reacted emotionally." When Will says that jokes have been made at his expense, he's not telling the truth entirely. That is because he is the joke, and Jada is the one that made him that way. She's done so many hurtful things to Will that many fans are beginning to call her a witch. From infidelity to her obsession with her former dead lover Tupac and her lack of respect for Will, it's hard to root for this woman. If Will survives her, then he's been to hell and back. Jada's love for Tupac was even noticed by her at the time 11-year-old daughter Willow, who wrote a letter to Mom's dead lover saying, "Dear Tupac, I know you are alive someplace. I think that my mummy misses you. Can you come back so mummy can be happy? I wish you were here. I really do. Love, Willow. Will has come out to say that he never felt that he measured up to Jada's idea of a perfect man. He was jealous of how well Jada got along with Tupac. In his autobiography called Will, he wrote, "I hated that I wasn't what he was in the world, and I suffered a raging jealousy. I wanted Jada to look at me like that. Jada was the paragon, the pinnacle, the queen of queens. If she chose me over Tupac, there was no way I could be a coward. I have rarely felt more vindicated." When he was young, Will had considered himself a coward for being unable to stand up to his father's abuse. In Tupac, he saw a fearless, passionate man whom he could never measure up to and was afraid of. Yet this was the man that his own daughter would come to idolize just as her mother did. As if longing for a dead man wasn't enough, Jada had been both rumored and confirmed to have cheated on Will. And it wasn't just August Alsina. In 2011, In Touch Weekly claimed that Will Smith had come to suspect his wife and her Hawthorne co-star Mark Anthony of having an affair. He allegedly came home without informing her, and when he walked into the house, he found the two, Jada and Mark, together. It's unclear what he saw, but whatever it was, it made him leave the house in tears. This was, however, denied by both Jada and Mark. Then in 2015, the couple separated, with Will stating, "I retire from trying to make you happy. You are free. You need to go make yourself happy and prove to me it's even possible. But I quit. You go do you, and I'ma go do me." That began a period of separation from which Jada would go on to have an affair with rapper August Alsina, a man nearly half her age and a friend of her son, Jaden. More recently, footage has come out of Will having a camera shoved in his face by Jada, where she asks him whether their therapist, Esther Perel, has been a help to their relationship. A visibly uncomfortable Will Smith responds by telling her not to film him in his own home without asking first. It was obvious that she had crossed a boundary, but she didn't care. In the now viral clip, Will explains how his public life is important to him. "My social media presence is my bread and butter, so you can't just use me for social media. Don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't start rolling." She ignores him and continues to film while saying to the camera that she is still dealing with foolishness. And to top it all off, how can anyone forget that Jada stated in the Red Table Talk that she never wanted to be married to Will, and had only done so because she was pregnant with Jaden? She recalled crying down the freaking aisle, and Will added, "We only got married because Gammy, Jada's mom Adrienne Banfield Norris, was crying." Given all these troubles, many have wondered why the pair haven't divorced. The kids are old enough, so they can't be an excuse. Funnily enough, some even got so tired of hearing about the couple that they started a petition in 2021 asking media outlets to stop talking about the Smiths. One commenter wrote, "Everything I learn about this couple is against my will. Free us." Well, they may have been tired of the Smiths before the slap, but the slap brought us all back. The Oscars are now popular again because of the slap. And this is not to say that Will is not guilty of anything. Cherie Zampino, Will's first wife, decided to leave him so that he could be with Jada. Apparently, there were no hard feelings, but that's hard to imagine. But for now, we all await Chris Rock's serious and funny talk about the slap.